Oh, I just had the weirdest dream. Oh my god. Um, you know what? Uh, instead of describing it, let me just show it to you. Let's check it out. So that was just announced yesterday. Sonic Dream Team. It's like they can't stop releasing games this year. Sonic Origins Plus, Sonic Superstars, the Frontiers update, and we thought we were done. We thought we were going to make it through the year without more Sonic, but no. The powers that be say we must get a Sonic game every month. It seems. But yeah, so Sonic Dream Team, it kind of came out of nowhere. However, Studio Hardlight, which is based out in the UK, owned by SEGA, they exclusively make mobile games. They teased something. They post this weird screen. I wish I could share it. I actually don't have it up right now, but you can check out their Twitter account or their X account. And it's just kind of like a dark, nightmarish kind of path. Honestly, I still think it might. I mean, maybe it's related to this game, but it also might be something from Sonic Dash. Like, I don't know. But it would make more sense to be from this. Anyway, yeah, so we newsed this, or I should say I newsed this. And here's the information that we were given. Sega sent out a press release to me, to me exclusively. No one else got it. It included a 3.5 gigabyte folder of assets, which is kind of unheard of. It also had, little information for me personally about what this whole situation was. It's an Apple Arcade exclusive game. It's coming out December 5th, and it is described as a 3D platformer. However, when I went onto the Apple TV, the game is called a Prime 3D platformer or a 3D Prime platformer. I feel like they threw Prime in there just so that search results for Sonic Prime would bring it up. But here are the big selling points. Well, first off, the story. So the story is being handled by Ian Flynn, who seems to have his fingers in everything these days, which I don't have any complaints about because it's great to have the same sort of storyteller touching Frontiers and Superstars and this, so that, there's a little connectivity there in terms of the characters. But the story here is that Dr. Eggman discovered the Reverie, which honestly sounds like something from Balan's Wonderworld. And it's an ancient device with the power to manifest dreams in the real world. So you navigate twisted dreamscapes. You rescue your friends and you put a stop to Dr. Eggman's nightmarish dreams of world domination. And other descriptions of this game said that you're specifically saving Cream. So it's like Knights into Cream or something. I don't know. There are 6 playable characters. Speaking of Cream, there's Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rose, who have kind of been the go-to playable characters this year. Every game has had those 4 playable. However, the new additions, or old returning additions, are Cream and Rouge. Now, to my knowledge, Cream has never been playable as a single player character, which is kind of a big deal here in terms of 3D. She's been in the advanced games. She was an NPC in Sonic Adventure, and she was in the little trio in Team Rose, right, in Heroes. So yeah, big for her. Also, Rouge is in this, but Shadow is not, and I think this is one of the first instances where Rouge appears but Shadow doesn't. And I gotta suspect that Shadow DLC is coming. I mean, Hardlight is well known for adding DLC to their games down the line, and I feel like to stretch this game out once Sonic 3 is on the horizon, the movie featuring Shadow, they're going to do Shadow DLC to keep this game relevant. They claim the boss battles are spectacular, though there's only 4 of them, which is kind of surprising. There are never before seen dream worlds. So they say we're not in Green Hill anymore. So, clearly a slam on how often Green Hill has been appearing. It says play through 12 intricate levels set within 4 unique dream worlds with mind-bending environments that include wall running, gravity changes, and more. So we're looking at 4 stages or 4 worlds with 4 boss battles, and then what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. So yeah, 3-act structure for each of them. And lastly, they say it combines mobile and cross-platform experiences, but really that just means that with Apple Arcade, you can seamlessly switch between your iPhone, your Mac, which I'm looking at now, your Apple TV, your iPad, really just about anything that's Apple and is recently built, I guess, in the past maybe like 8 or 10 years could probably handle this game. Here's some screenshots of it. It looks very like Sonic Colors meets Sonic Lost World to me. Like the aesthetics have a very, like, look at these characters. This is a balloon. It's clearly like made out of balloons. It's a balloon Eggman crab meat, which is kind of wild. In fact, the whole island looks like they're made out of balloons. The palm trees are balloons. So yeah, this must be a balloon stage. Everything's a balloon. Look at that. I know it's loading slowly, but here we go. Balloons in the background. The badniks aren't balloons, but yeah, you can get a sense here then of just, the kind of stage layouts we can expect, and they're very expansive. It kind of almost reminds me of the Sonic Simulator on Roblox, where it just is kind of like a playground with little paths that you can take. And I suspect it's going to be linear in the sense that there is a beginning and end point, and I'll get to that in a moment. But there's going to be these wide open spaces where you can kind of explore a little bit. Now, exploration wise, it's not going to be anything like Sonic Frontiers, because you're seeing here it's just like a big white plain, or here it's a little more ornate. In fact, I think this is actually what Hard Light teased. This looks like the stage. So here's another world, Knuckles jumping around, and then here's, I believe, another world which is kind of yellowish with topiary, and then lastly we're going to have this sort of sky. It's like an Eggman celebratory world. In fact, my favorite screenshot from this, and I believe it's right here, yeah, with Tails, is it just looks insane. It's like an Eggman throne room. Look at all the statues. So, I mean, it looks fairly cool. I mean, the game itself almost looks like it's a Switch exclusive Sonic game. But it's going to be running on Apple devices. And I know that's been kind of a divisive thing for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of influencers who get a lot of preferential treatment from SEGA, just kind of like being like, what is Apple Arcade? I don't even know what this is. 5 people are going to be enjoying this game. And it's like, wow, SEGA, you really picked the cream of the crop, these people who don't know a damn thing about the industry or the platforms you release your games on. But Apple Arcade, it's basically Apple's Game Pass. And I've seen anecdotal evidence from people who are like in their early 20s on Twitter going, well, I have 5 friends, none of them have this, so it's clearly no one owns this. But couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, an article I dug up from last year said that it is in the 9 figures. So what's that? 100, at the very least, 100 million people have access to Apple Arcade. Now, I say have access because I think the catch there is that Apple Arcade is essentially bundled into just about every Apple like digital thing that you can subscribe to. So for example, me, I do graphic design work, which is a lot of big files. So it's beneficial to me to subscribe to their online storage or cloud storage, and Apple Arcade's included with that, Apple TV Plus. So I think a lot of people have this, and I don't think everyone's utilizing it, but still, I mean, it's accessible to them. And I think when this game comes out, a lot more people who have not utilized Apple Arcade will be utilizing it. That is to say, if the game itself, really catches fire and gets the attention from people, because it's possible that this game might be awful. But from what I've been hearing, at least from people who worked on the game, who are a little biased, they say it's awesome. And let's take a look at some gameplay footage here. So this actually is additional footage with some sound effects. Let's check it out. Woohoo! So you can see here, you can see the UI. It's very basic. We have the rings up in the corner. We have a pause button, which is clearly for those who are on a mobile platform. I don't know if the pause will be there if you're playing it on your Apple TV. Speaking of Apple TV, you can use Xbox One gamepads. You can use PlayStation 4 gamepads. I think even PlayStation 5. I might have to check on that. But yeah, it's very easy to hook up a gamepad to it. There's a dedicated menu item right when you push the little menu option there. But let's take a look here, just kind of click through. So this bit very clearly feels like the opening to like a Sonic Colors stage. This bit here, you can see that balloon world off to the right there is a kind of a second path. So you have this kind of high path, low path, which is cool. I like that. Kind of gives me a Sonic Heroes stage layout vibe there. At the top, you can see stage progression, which is why I was saying I think it's linear to a point. There's going to be these open world areas, but it's really linear because you're trying to reach that little bit at the top there. And then there's like a little half pipe, which is kind of cool. And you can see up there in the very top branching section. So three different places you can go to. So it seems to be pretty expansive. Again, you're in this little jungle area off to the left collecting blue tokens, whatever those are. And then off to the right is another area that you could be running on. And then you can see the path splits again up there. Here's a kind of orangey chemical stage. And again, you can see two paths branching off there, maybe even three. And you're collecting lightning bolts this time. So I'm wondering if each world has its own little collectible. And then again here, you can see that there are three paths. This is actually that earlier area we were looking at again with the half pipe. And then here's Knuckles running down. Again, back to the balloon world with the half pipe. Here's Rouge. And then Tails in a large area here. And again, you can see those branching paths. I think this is the coolest shot just because it really feels like a big area with a lot to do. It's nowhere near what Frontiers offers. But again, this is something being made from a mobile team who are trying to break into the 3D platforming space. So it looks cool. This again also looks really cool. You can see there's that there's an area down there, area up here, branches off. Got one thumbs down from someone for Cream. Let's go back to Cream here. They don't like that. They don't like Cream. Here's a boss. So this is one of the 4 bosses. It's the inflatable Robotnik crab meat. Here's another boss. It's what is he? Like a little teddy bear or something? He's got little ears. And then I think we only got to look at those 2 bosses in this video then. And then there is wall running. Sonic does have some sort of energy thing going on here. You can see that. And then you're heading to like a warp hole up in the top if you look at how close he's getting to the end of the stage. And also worth noting is it seems like you can seamlessly switch between characters. I don't know if you pick 2 and you switch between them or if you have all 6 at your disposal, but that's interesting. And that pretty much does it for the little look at Dream Team there. Now, I did want to just share this kind of funny little bit that Sega sent, or Sega's marketing or PR team sent over. So here is what I received. This is the key art, and typically this is flattened, and I just get like a PNG or a JPEG. But they actually sent over the full file, and look at this. Like, look at all of these, all of these layers here. They did this once before when they were doing those Sonic Forces preview comics. They had all the layers, including the sketches, like the ideas for other cover options, which was kind of cool. This one, there's not really many secrets hidden within. However, what I found really fascinating is that it has all the characters' renders linked. So full res renders of all of these characters. You can also goof around and be like, we don't want these things. So you can actually like pretend you're Time Eater and just like turn the world into a white void. But you can also double click on any of these. And what I was surprised by is that Arium right here is the name of that big ram. And people have pointed out since I shared that on Twitter X, that, you know, like REM, Ram, you know, it's kind of a play on her being a ram, REM. Are there female rams? I don't know. But it's Sonic, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, double clicking on her actually brought me to the layer, or the dedicated, you know, workspace for her. But if you double click it again, look at this, you get her beautiful render. Look at that. And so you get a full body shot, as they would say in Napoleon Dynamite. And yeah, it's very Knights. It's very, I brought this out, Sonic Shuffle. This is my Sonic Shuffle display box. But yeah, it reminds me of that sort of dream world area that we've explored before in Sonic and, of course, in Nights into Dreams. You'll note that she has floating hands. She doesn't have arms. You can see there. Like, there's no connection there. It's kind of creepy. Look at her feet, too. She doesn't really have feet. She has, like, these little nubs. And then, again, her hand just kind of floats there. And there she is with her sassy smile. But yeah, as far as like a new character, it's the design's not that bad. I actually quite like it, and you know, it's up there with Cream's mom in terms of like Sonic universe moms that we can all celebrate on Mother's Day. I don't know if she has any kids, but she looks like a mom to me. And yeah, so that's what we've learned so far. I'm interested to see how people react once the game comes out. The game's going to be out very soon, in 1 month. So I'm bugging Sega to see if they can give us like any advance preview or interviews or things like that. But yeah, as far as people who want to experience this game, this will likely not be leaving the Apple Arcade world, because Apple partially funded it. There's a game producer on Twitter talking about the game who works for Apple. So this is something that Sega and Apple worked on. Apple partially funded, and so it's likely going to live on that service, which, I mean, I think it sucks just because of what we saw with Choo Choo Rocket Universe, which was a game that I greatly enjoyed but didn't play nearly enough because it was pulled unceremoniously, and I don't know why that was, but I don't think this one's going to be pulled anytime soon because of the big marketing push they're giving it. But it does mean that it's going to join the ranks of Sonic games that never will have a physical release. And at the very least, with games like Sonic 4, love it or hate them, they are accessible on multiple platforms and you can back them up. You know, they're not going to disappear so much there. But with this, if Sega ever decides to pull it, or Apple Arcade goes under and they don't decide to re-release this as like its own paid app, it will basically be this little app on your Apple TV or on your device. You'll tap and it'll say, hey, this game no longer is supported. Do you want to delete it? And so it's like there's no way around it. But hopefully, maybe in the near future, someone will figure out how to revive those delisted Apple Arcade games. I'd suggest if you do want to get this, Apple TV is probably your best bet because you can stream it to your TV. It looks really nice. You can connect your controllers. Other options are, I think maybe you could stream your, like cast your phone to your TV and then connect a controller to your phone, but you might have a little bit of lag there. But yeah, that'll do it in terms of the Sonic Dream Team news that we have for this week. And I'm glad I could hop on. I was like, I'm in my pajamas, but it's a Dream Team game, and I thought, oh, I'll put on a hat to cover up my bed head, but I think it actually made it worse. But now I feel like I work at McDonald's like Tails does, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, that'll do it. We will be back with Sega News Bits, I think sooner than later. These are kind of fun to do at like 7 a.m. my time. But tell me what you think in the comments about Sonic Dream Team, and maybe we'll do some Sonic Dream Team stream. We'll start a Dream Team stream club, and you all can join up. We'll see you next time, and have a beautiful day. Bye.